We had a great time in Vicksburg, Mississippi last week. We visited a few museums, ate some delicious food, and checked out the Vicksburg National Military Park, including the USS Cairo Gunboat and Museum. This week we are taking the Blues Highway through the Mississippi Delta all the way to Memphis, Tennessee. We took US Highway 61 all the way from Vicksburg to Memphis, passing several small Delta communities. This may be the Great River Road, but there were no river views at all from this highway. We made it into the south side of Memphis and drove to our final destination, T.O. Fuller State Park. This state park is about a 20-minute drive from downtown Memphis, but you wouldn't know it when staying here. It was fairly quiet and felt secluded. The campground offered bathrooms and showers, as well as laundry and a playground. There were a couple of hiking trails, one of which we checked out one afternoon. This was a decent campground with water and electric sites and a dump station. Our only gripe was that the grass and weeds needed to be mowed bad. Unfortunately, this state park is also just about a mile away from a water treatment plant, so every now and then the wind blew an unpleasant smell our way. T.O. Fuller State Park is also home to the C.H. Nash Museum at the Chucalissa Indian Village. This museum is free for campers and showcases several examples of early hunters, farmers, and other early peoples of the Paleo, Archaic, Woodland, and other periods. The museum does a great job educating on these different periods, as well as tribes native to the area, including the Choctaw and Chickasaw tribes. There are a lot of artifacts on display, including stone tools, arrowheads, and other weapons. There is also a section on the history of Memphis as a city. Outside of the museum is Chucalissa, an archaeological site that was discovered by the Civilian Conservation Corps in 1939 while developing T.O. Fuller State Park. It is believed to have been inhabited from around 1000 CE to 1600 CE. The site includes a central plaza, which may have been used as a park or social gathering area, a large platform mound, on which may have stood a temple and where the chief may have resided, and a reconstructed house. Overall, this was an excellent museum with an interesting archaeological site that you can walk around. We experienced a lot of rain and some severe storms during our week in Memphis. In fact, Memphis received a record-setting amount of rain while we were here. The campground was on higher ground, so it did not flood, but we did see this guy looking for higher ground who was a bit too close for comfort. The park rangers did an excellent job of informing campers of severe weather, and twice they drove around the campground and had everybody take shelter in the bathroom building for severe weather.
Hi. So it finally happened. There was a tornado that touched down about 3 miles away. So we're just here chilling in the storm shelter at the campground. Yep.
Hopefully we stay safe.
Yep.
These rangers took their campers' safety very seriously. Memphis is an exciting city known for its history, blues music, and delicious food. We ate at a few great places during our week here.
I'm gonna go get myself a super fried burrito.
I had birria tacos, and Keisha had a super fried burrito she had been craving for months at Los Albertos Taco Shop. We had catfish at Bel Air Bar and Grill across the river in West Memphis, Arkansas. We also couldn't pass up on Gus's world-famous fried chicken, where we not only had some fried chicken, we tried their fried pickles as well. We couldn't come to Memphis and not eat some barbecue and Memphis-style ribs. First, we tried Central Barbecue, which has a location that conveniently sits across from the National Civil Rights Museum. Here we ordered the rib combo, which came with a half slab of ribs and 2 other meats. We opted for brisket and sausage and got the mac and cheese and baked beans on the side. The sausage and brisket were pretty good, but the dry rub ribs were the star of the show. The dry rub seasoning was very good, and they even put some of it on their mac and cheese, adding some extra flavor. This was a great place to stop at for lunch. Another famous rib joint we had to check out was Charlie Vergo's Rendezvous. This restaurant is hidden away in a basement, down an alley across from the Peabody Hotel. The restaurant has been serving up delicious dry rub ribs since 1948. Here we got the ribs and chicken with slaw and baked beans. The chicken was pretty good, and the slaw was spicy and flavorful. The ribs and the dry rub they were covered in were awesome. Memphis definitely knows how to do dry rub barbecue ribs. We were here in Memphis in early April, and we ended up visiting the National Civil Rights Museum on the day before the 57th anniversary of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s assassination. This is an extremely well-done museum built around the historic Lorraine Motel where Dr. King was assassinated on April 4th, 1968. You can see the balcony where Dr. King was struck by a bullet that was fired across the street by James Earl Ray. This is a very emotional and busy museum as people come to learn more about the fight for civil rights and pay their respects to one of the biggest civil rights leaders. The National Civil Rights Museum costs $20 per adult and takes you on an educational journey through time, starting with the transatlantic slave trade and into the Jim Crow era. You then walk through several very well-done exhibits on specific civil rights battles, including the Montgomery bus boycott, the Freedom Rides, sit-ins, and the March on Washington. This all leads up to the Memphis sanitation strike, in which Memphis sanitation workers protested for higher wages, overtime pay, and better safety measures after 2 employees were crushed to death in a garbage compactor. This is when Dr. King traveled to Memphis to support the striking workers, and where he ended up staying in room 306 at the Lorraine Motel on April 4th, 1968. You can see Dr. King's room 306 and the balcony where he was assassinated. This was a very emotional part of the museum. After seeing room 306 and learning more about Dr. King's assassination, we finished up reading about the fight for equality after Dr. King. Overall, this was an excellent museum that you cannot pass up when in Memphis. While we were in Memphis, we were surprised with a visit from some of our family. It was a wonderful surprise, and we had a great time checking out downtown Memphis and the world-famous Beale Street with some familiar faces. While in Memphis, we had to check out the Peabody Hotel, home of the world-famous Peabody Ducks. This hotel is magnificent and probably very much out of our price range. But anyone can walk into the Peabody lobby and wait to see the Peabody Ducks exit the elevator and walk down the red carpet before hopping into the lobby fountain. The Peabody Ducks have been leaving their Royal Duck Palace on the hotel rooftop, taking the elevator down to the lobby, and waddling into the fountain every day at 11 a.m. for almost 90 years. Then, every day at 5 p.m., they exit the fountain, take the elevator back up to the roof, and sleep in their palace until the next morning. This was such a cute sight to see. Don't forget to get here early to catch a good spot to view the ducks. It did get pretty busy just before 11 a.m. Fortunately, there is a bar with a pretty good view of the fountain that we waited at. Another fun thing to do in Memphis is the Backbeat Memphis Mojo bus tour. This is a bus that takes you for an hour-and-a-half drive around Memphis, where you will see several sites including the Lorraine Motel, Sun Studio, and Stax Studio, Overton Park, early homes of Elvis Presley and Johnny Cash, and much more.
They say Elvis would sit in a door stoop there and play his guitar.
It was a great way to see all over Memphis, and the best part was that our tour guide also sang songs in between narrating the history of where we were driving. This was a pretty neat bus ride, and the live music was great.
Then I'm walking in Memphis, walking with my feet 10 feet off of Beale.
We couldn't come to Memphis without walking down Beale Street. We even got one good day without rain where we were able to sit outside and listen to live music. Beale Street is the entertainment district of Memphis. It is home to many bars and music venues where local musicians perform all kinds of music from blues to soul to rock and roll. Normally, it is full of people and street performers, but with all the rain Memphis was getting, it wasn't as lively while we were here. Still, we had a great time walking down Beale Street, seeing the awesome neon lit signs, and hearing some great local music. Memphis is a great city with so much history and culture. Even though rain and severe weather affected a lot of our week here, we still had a wonderful time hanging out with family, eating some delicious Memphis style ribs, and experiencing the sights and sounds of Beale Street. We would love to come back to Memphis and explore some more. Hope you enjoyed.
Rally up the team and find out what the plan is.